Hello YouTube, this is DVD Review Studios here, and today I'm going to be doing a Blu-ray and DVD update for March 2020. So let's of course begin with the Blu-rays. First up is John Carpenter's They Live, which is a movie that I've wanted to watch for a very long time. I originally watched a couple of clips from this film it was a documentary by Slavoj Žižek.
The one and so on.
And it was either Pervert's Guide to Cinema or Pervert's Guide to Ideology. I'm leaning more towards the latter in all honesty. But the ideological views in this movie are beyond fascinating. And if you're not familiar with the concept of They Live, it's basically exposing the reality that capitalist aliens have infiltrated and indoctrinated planet Earth. And so these sunglasses that you see here featured on the front cover basically allow you to see beyond what we see as consumerism. And so whenever you say, for example, as an example that's pitched in the film, if you look at a billboard that has a partially clothed lady on there sort of advertising a holiday or something, you will instead see the word procreate if you wear the sunglasses. And yeah, I just find the concept behind this film absolutely fascinating, and the way this is done, especially with the cinematography, is overall very interesting. And my personal favourite scene was for sure the fight sequence between Roddy Piper's character and the character of Frank, where Roddy Piper is basically trying to force Frank to wear the sunglasses to see reality for what it truly is. And no matter what, Frank just denies its folly and just does not want to know. And it's quite a backward ideology in that sense, just showing how humanity is so enslaved with what we have as consumerism. Absolutely incredible film. If you haven't seen it, I would 100% recommend it. Very thought-provoking movie. Next up is American Psycho, starring Christian Bale, which is a movie that, again, I've wanted to watch for a while, and sadly I haven't got around to watching this as of yet. My good friend here on YouTube, The Cryptic Cinema, aka Dean, has mentioned this movie to me multiple times, and it's a film that I've always wanted to watch, and I've always been very interested in the character that Christian Bale portrays in this movie of Patrick Bateman. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this out. I try not to feature things in update videos now that I haven't seen, but this is something that I will definitely re-feature in a future update video to talk about. So that is American Psycho. Since we are kind of short on Blu-rays this month, I thought I would show a couple of CDs that I've picked up as of late, which I don't really collect CDs, I just cherry pick the odd ones here and there, and to be honest, it's been one of those strange months where I've just picked up more CDs than ever, in all honesty, so I thought I could briefly feature these on the channel, the first of which, in fact, we've got two Gorillaz albums to show, which I've got the original Gorillaz album and Demon Days, and I've never really looked into the other ones, to be fair. I know of them, and I quite liked a couple of tracks from Plastic Beach, but I never really gave the whole album a listen, and I'm very glad that I did. One that really took me by surprise was the track Rhinestone Eyes, and if you haven't seen it, there's a phenomenal music video out there based on the original cancelled sketch art for the music video to Rhinestone Eyes, and someone actually went ahead and looked through those little animatic stills and produced a fully animated version of that music video in Adobe Flash, and I thought that was incredible. So definitely go ahead and look that up if you're interested. But Plastic Beach is quite a fascinating album. This little set actually includes the album along with a documentary about the making of Plastic Beach. And I love the artwork on this, especially the interior one here on the fold-out. And then on the little pockets where the discs are kept, we have this fantastic piece of Cyborg Noodle. And there's Murdoch there on the other side. And there is the disc artwork, kind of plain, but compared to the rest, obviously, I don't really mind that fact. And then on the other pockets, we have some more artwork there. There's Noodle riding on top of giant Russell's head, since Russell, I believe in the lore of Plastic Beach, he was sort of exposed to toxic waste or just toxic chemicals and grew to a huge proportion, which there he is obviously in scale there. Looks kind of ridiculous. And there's some more phenomenal artwork there on the other side. And yeah, Plastic Beach was an album that I wasn't really too interested in, but I'm glad I've revisited it, and I've gained really a new love for some of the newer aspects of Gorillaz. The only album I'm still not really keen on is Humans, but I think that is, in all honesty, their least popular album, but that's my opinion on that front anyway. And I believe this is the documentary disc there. And their most recent album, The Now Now, was one that genuinely did take me by surprise, with a lot of the tracks on here actually being very, very good and reminding me a lot of the classic Gorillaz tracks, one that I really quite liked was Sokai. Kansas was very good, along with Idaho. Magic City was for sure my absolute favorite. If you're going to listen to any track on here, I would personally recommend checking out Magic City. And yeah, this was overall a phenomenal album, and for whatever reason, in the lore of Gorillaz, Murdoch is absent from this mix, but with this collaboration, they managed to, for whatever reason, get the rights to the character of Ace from, I believe, the Powerpuff Girls, which is this character here. So I don't know too much about that. I'm going to have to read up on that for sure, but I believe, as the story goes, Murdoch is currently in prison, which is very Murdoch-like. So that's the two Gorillaz albums I picked up. Also picked up the soundtrack CD to coincide with 1981's Heavy Metal, which is an absolutely phenomenal movie, and for sure not for the faint-hearted, but this movie soundtrack I've been listening to now for absolutely ages, and it's introduced me to some very fascinating metal-related bands, especially Black Sabbath, Don Felder, Grand Funk Railroad, Nazareth. Nazareth being one of my personal favourites with the track choice on this particular album set. And yeah, there's some phenomenal pieces on here which I would definitely recommend going away and giving a brief listen to, even if you're not interested in the movie, in all honesty. But I think you would find some enjoyment from this track list, and for sure the track by Grand Funk Railroad, Queen Bee, that one has stuck out to me, with that being the intro to my favourite segment of the movie, the robot love scene, which is very creepy, but for sure the most interesting scene in my personal opinion. And yeah, if you're interested in quirky animation and dark themes and tones, definitely recommend Heavy Metal. It's for sure something worth checking out. And last two CD sets, we have the best of sort of compilations of the singles by Depeche Mode. So this is the singles from 1981 through to 85. And then through 86 through to 1998. I've only listened to a couple of tracks from just this first CD, which is for sure something I'd definitely recommend giving a brief listen to. And they have a very interesting sound, as I would term it, which I definitely would recommend giving a brief listen to, see whether you like it or not. But yeah, that is the sort of best of compilations of Depeche Mode. Moving on to the DVDs, first up we have Made in Britain, a film directed by Alan Clark. This movie, funnily enough, is the first ever acting debut of actor Tim Roth, and he does an absolutely phenomenal job at bringing to life the character of Trevor, a very narcissistic and very confused, stereotyped, kind of racist skinhead, who is all out to basically make sure the system, as it would be, fails him. And just make sure that basically there'd be no redemption for him as a character. Whereas the character of Harry, who is kind of like a social worker, sees a lot more potential in Trevor. And it's quite hard-hitting to see someone that wants to be failed struggle to actually fail as a person, because there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for them, and their downfall and the reasoning behind why they become so corrupt and violent. It's overall quite a fascinating tale. The film is very short, about an hour long. There you go, 73 minutes, so a lot shorter than I would have really expected. But the movie is definitely worth checking out, and funnily enough, it is available on YouTube to watch for free. It's just in very shoddy quality, as I'm sure you can expect. But yeah, Made in Britain, for sure, a great film. I'm very glad to have this in the collection. Next up we have The Pianist, starring Adrien Brody. This is a phenomenal and overall very compelling film of the harsh realities of the Holocaust, and follows a pianist who is struggling in Nazi-occupied Poland to remain undetected, and it basically follows his story of him trying to survive through Warsaw and hopefully go undetected, which is really the main kind of scare factor in this movie. And it's overall very fascinating to see the real and harsh discriminations against the physical appearance and stereotype of the Jew as depicted throughout 1940s, and basically this gives credit to that for just how horrible it was, and how the stereotype really did live on as obviously something that was supposed to be represented as evil and disgusting. It really just brings it home just how horrible that must have been for the entire Jewish race of people. Yeah, this is a fascinating tale of basically a man's survival. And overall, I definitely would recommend checking this film out. It's by far my favourite acting credit of Adrien Brody, and there are so many not only evocative but just absolutely brutal scenes that really do stand out. So for example, there's one where the SS invade an upstairs living facility, and they find a man who is confined to a wheelchair. And of course, as the Nazi occupation and sort of extermination of those who are different, disabled, whatever it would be, they literally lift a man out of his wheelchair and throw him off a balcony. That was for sure the sort of standout scene for this movie, in my honest opinion, and something that I found to be utterly brutal, but really, of course, gave credit and really was very compelling to obviously what the Nazi occupation really was. And so yeah, if you're interested in the Holocaust, absolutely would recommend this movie. Truly, as it does say, it is a masterpiece, and the cinematography is beyond fascinating for how it delivers such a compelling story. Next up we have Rounders, starring Matt Damon and Edward Norton, which I picked this movie up just as another film to watch starring Edward Norton, who is one of my all-time favourite actors. And this film was no exception to me enjoying it very, very much because of Ed Norton's character. I quite liked his liminal perspective on trying to be a sort of straight card player when really he was just a massive cheat all along. That's really what primarily this movie is about. It's basically a buddy movie about being successful at playing cards both the right way and the wrong way. And it was also great to see John Malkovich in this movie, an actor that I will never ever take seriously anymore thanks to the movie being John Malkovich, but still. Overall, a very fun movie, very simplistic in its ideas, but for sure something that I would recommend checking out and past 2 hours, so that is Rounders. Next up is Beetlejuice, starring, of course, Michael Keaton, from director of films such as Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim Burton. Another very odd, very fascinating movie from the twisted mind of Tim Burton. And overall, I found this to be a very interesting movie for sure. A film that, to be honest, a lot of people that I've spoken to about this movie just said they hated it, or it just really wasn't their cup of tea. And I actually found myself to really enjoy this movie. The dark, twisted themes were great. I was actually kind of surprised how underused the character of Beetlejuice was, despite obviously being the title character. But I loved the scenes between the couple throughout the film that basically die at the very beginning. I was kind of surprised about that being really the main sort of catalyst for the story, but yeah, overall I thought it was very enjoyable and surprised me very, very much. So that is Beetlejuice. The next couple of films are all directed by Shane Meadows, the first of which is Summer's Town, which overall I thought was okay. I've seen this 1 or 2 times now. The first time I saw this was in a film studies class, and I thought it was okay. It's very humorous and overall kind of childish in its humour as well. But it's basically just following 2 sort of strangers, as you call them, that become very unlikely friends. So we have a Polish immigrant that's just moved to London and a child runaway that's literally boarded a train and got to London. And yeah, overall it was quite a fun film with the 2 main characters kind of chasing after the same girl that they both happened to like. And there was a lot of humour caused by that. But yeah, other than that, it just passed an hour or so. And I'd recommend it if you're a fan of Shane Meadows' film style. It's something that I think is on the weaker side of his filmography, as I'd term it, but I thought it was okay and for sure worth a watch. So that is Summer's Town. And sticking with Shane Meadows' favourite actor, as it would be the kid Thomas Turgus, who's obviously not much of a kid anymore, we have all the This Is England sequels. Which were termed as sort of TV mini-series. So the original movie, This Is England, which is termed now as, I believe, This Is England 1983, is the setup for This Is England 86, 88, and 90. And overall, I thought these were okay for TV mini-series. However, I was expecting a lot more to them. They certainly have the depth to them. But the way the stories are dragged out and the way they overlap, it's kind of complicated in some areas. So the sort of love triangle between Woody, Lol, and Milky, that's something that definitely does get dragged out, but is quite emotionally compelling by This Is England 90. And the side story with Lol, where her father is basically accused of being both a rapist and a paedophile, is something that does definitely hit hard, as it would be. It's definitely the most brutal story, which I believe is overlapped into This Is England 88, where Lol is struggling with the fact that she killed her own father, and the character of Combo, who makes a grand return, he takes the rap for it. Those were the main stories that really stuck out for me. The rest of it, I think, is very unnecessary, especially the stories surrounding the character of Sean, which I think is kind of forced in some instances. But other than that, they were okay, probably worth just the singular watch in all fairness. But if you're a fan of the This Is England movie, I would definitely recommend checking these out just to see really what the characters are up to in the years progressing from 1983, where we originally meet them. So that is the This Is England franchise. The main disappointment, in all honesty, just to quickly throw this in there, the ending for Combo in This Is England 90. I really do hope Shane Meadows follows that up in some way or another, but I think his trick there was basically to leave us, basically to fill in the gaps and obviously make our own decision as to what happens with Combo, the sort of overarching villain as it would be. But yeah, that's the This Is England sequels. Next up is The Thick of It, Series 1 and 2, which I've shown The Thick of It here on the channel a couple of times, and it's a show that I've wanted to get into, but just never really had the chance to do so. I have the 1 through to 4 box set, and that's where this is actually from. And so far, I've only seen Series 1, which is essentially just 3 episodes of the series, but so far so good. I am actually really enjoying it, and it's a lot more surprising than I really expected for its comedy style and overall angle. The main reason why I decided to give this a watch anyway was just for the infamous character of Malcolm Tucker, portrayed by Peter Capaldi, which really seems to be the main sort of draw for this kind of series, for his infamous one-liners.
I'm telling you to fucking stand up, you sack of fucking cum.
And so obviously that was the reason why I wanted to watch this, just to see what his character was mainly about. But the story itself is kind of fascinating, just showing the do's and don'ts of what really does hide behind political strategy, and basically how every decision made is either to appease the press or please the press. Either way, you're basically fucked. And that, from at least based on Series 1 anyway, just seems to be the message behind it, and how complicated things get out of something that could be made so basic, which is mainly where the humour draws from it, and just how obtuse these characters are. And yeah, it's overall quite fascinating, and I'm looking forward to checking out the rest of this series. So that is, at least for now, Series 1 of The Thick of It. Next up is Robot Chicken Season 4, which I've only seen so far all of Robot Chicken Season 1. And I've seen obviously the specials. I've seen the Walking Dead special and all 3 of the Star Wars ones. But the main series itself is just something that I've never really committed any time to. And so having Season 1 on DVD, I managed to finish that one off, and I really quite liked it. And so getting into the series and just how easy to watch it is with short 11-minute or so episodes, I thought I'd go after the rest of the box sets just really to have something on in the background here and there. And so Season 4 I just picked up on eBay for literally, I think this was like 99p free postage. And it's a 2-disc DVD set. And I haven't checked it out as of yet. I'll probably buy Season 2 and 3 before I give this one a watch, but there's not really much continuity to Robot Chicken apart from some of the interconnected stories, and obviously the main story, I guess you could call it, between the Robot Chicken and the mad scientist. But anyway, there you go, that is Robot Chicken Season 4. And to round off this Blu-ray and DVD update, we have a load of TV show box sets, the majority of which are animated shows, beginning with the original classic HeMan and the Masters of the Universe Complete Series box set. This is something that I picked up on a whim for only, I think it was about £16 from Amazon USA, which was an absolute steal, because in the UK, for whatever reason, this sells UK sold for about £50 for the exact same DVD copy, which is absolutely insane, but there you go. So the original copies of the HeMan TV show look to be out of print, and therefore obviously rare, collectible, etc. Especially the much larger DVD sets that come with the collector cards and whatever extras they include. But this is fine for me. This is literally just a slimline version for the complete series, which contains all 130 episodes, plus the extras and a couple of extra movies. We have He-Man and She-Ra, The Secret of the Sword, which I've never seen before, and then the Christmas special as well. Which I don't really know too much about those, but as far as the original series goes, I just absolutely love the trippy animation style for this. This show is just literally like an acid trip every episode. And the comedy style is definitely my kind of humour. And this is, again, similarly to Robot Chicken, one of those shows that I would just have on in the background, just as kind of background noise, but also some kind of entertainment as well. And yeah, it's overall quite a phenomenal series, something that I'm glad I'm actually checking out in the fullest. So season one is all the red discs, and then season two is obviously the blue discs with the extras and the extra inclusions of the two movies added on these extra discs on the back. And I love these slimline editions that come with the removable CD tray, which is obviously perfect and makes sure that they don't actually crack the interior case or damage anything with like a swing tray, something like that. And there's some nice inside artwork there with both HeMan and Skeletor. And you also get an episode guide, which is a really nice inclusion as well, which gives you obviously a breakdown of all the episodes. And there you have it. That's really the bare bones of what this set really is. I'll probably do a video on it later on down the line once I've watched either all of, or at least the majority of this show. And yeah, for an 80s cartoon, this is for sure the most 80s cartoon I can really think of. It's up there with some of the more stranger animations that I've enjoyed in the past couple of years or so. And yeah, it's a show that I would 100% recommend checking out. A lot of the full episodes are, funnily enough, available on YouTube for free. I just really wanted to have this on DVD for convenience sake, since my internet connection isn't the best for streaming. But yeah, that's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Next up we have King of the Hill, the complete first season, which I've been on a little bit of a Mike Judge kind of binge as of late. And this is a show that I've seen a couple of episodes of, but I've never really gotten into. I remember when they used to show this on E4 here in the UK, around the time that they were showing the Cleveland show. And I caught a couple of episodes then, and I thought it was okay, but it was, again, another Simpsons Family Guy kind of ordeal. But it's a little bit more than that, to my surprise, and I love the animation for the way Mike Judge animates his characters, especially with obviously having watched a lot of Beavis and Butthead. And in King of the Hill, I'm only about, I think, 4 or 5 episodes in now, but so far so good, I'm enjoying it. I'll probably have a scout around to try and find the next few seasons cheapish on eBay, but yeah, season 1, it's okay. It's not what I really expected for its comedy style, but it's basically another sort of rebranded family animated sitcom, which is okay. But obviously gets a little bit tiresome once you've seen however many of those now exist, but there you go. So that is the first season of King of the Hill. Next up we have, continuing our Mike Judge binge, which I've had these in the collection for a while, I've just actually not shown them on the channel. We have the Mike Judge collections for Beavis and Butthead, so we have Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. And I picked these up in a job lot for about £6, I think it was, and they're all in okay condition, apart from the cases, which are a little bit worse for wear. But other than that, the discs are absolutely fine. These are all, I believe, 3-disc sets each, if I'm not mistaken. And they have some terrific artwork on each individual sort of thin case, as it would be. With some great inside artwork on each one as well. And these are just the hand-picked favourite episodes from Mike Judge, who has assembled these together as volume collections, since I believe there are a lot of issues with copyright and music rights to the original Beavis and Butthead formations of the original cartoons, since obviously they had a lot of stuff relating to MTV back in the day, criticising old music videos and trying to get sort of satirical humour through it that way. So that's why there's no sort of complete series of Beavis and Butthead available anywhere, but yeah, these are the original Mike Judge collection volumes, and these are satisfactory enough for someone like myself who's just a casual fan. I know there's also a volume 4 out there for the rebooted series that I think came out in 2011. I don't really know too much about that other than it basically came out in 2011, but inevitably I will more than likely pick that up at a later date to complete the collection. But anyway, that is the Mike Judge Beavis and Butthead volumes. And so the last couple of things we have to show, the first of which is Misfits, both Series 4 and Series 5. In my January update I did swear off this series, saying that I was basically no longer interested and I didn't really want to finish Series 4. But a couple of friends did convince me to do so, saying it does get progressively a lot better. And to my surprise, it actually did. My favourite episode, probably overall now for Misfits, is the episode on the latter half of this series where, for whatever reason, each character who appear at this house party have the number of how many people they've slept with tattooed on their forehead as a psychotic, mass-murdering rabbit, a man-sized rabbit, goes around brutally annihilating people. Yeah, wrap your head around that one. So yeah, that was a very interesting episode, and for sure one of my favourites, or if not my absolute favourite perhaps. Very interesting concepts behind that episode, and the ending to this series was okay, setting up the events for Misfits Series 5. Which overall was a decent enough finale. I don't really think it could have ended any other way with an actual kind of sort of explanation behind the storm that gave the characters superpowers. But the ongoing story of the superhero help group, or self-help group almost, like an AA kind of meeting, that was actually kind of interesting as a storyline, and overall I thought the characters definitely were portrayed a lot better than they were in Series 4, where they all felt very forced. And so Series 5 was an improvement. It wasn't obviously as good as the OG Misfits, as I'll term it, but overall, not bad, and I'm actually kind of glad I did revisit this in the end. So that is Misfits Series 4 and Series 5. And finally, we have the complete series of The Lakes, starring John Sim, a show that I've been recommended to watch a couple of times here on the channel. If you're a long-time viewer, you will know that I'm a huge fan of John Sim as an actor. This is one of the few shows that I had not seen him in, so obviously I wanted to change that. So I picked this DVD set up for about £6 on eBay, which isn't too bad since this was normally going for about 10 to 15 the last time I actually checked to hopefully go ahead and buy it. And as of yet I haven't watched it, but its web series is included, spread over 4 DVD discs, and to my very basic understanding of the show, it's literally about the Lake District and the character that John Sim portrays of Danny returning back to the lakes, and other than that I really don't know anything more, so I'm looking forward to giving this a watch. I'm a huge fan of the dramas that John Sim has starred in, such as Life on Mars, Crime and Punishment. So yeah, I'm hoping to enjoy this, and I'll be sure to feedback my thoughts in a future update video. So that's going to do it for my March 2020 Blu-ray and DVD update video. I really do hope you have enjoyed. Apologies for the lack of uploads this past couple of weeks. I know I do regularly say that, but obviously with what's currently going on in the world, especially here in the UK with us going into lockdown this past week, that got kind of crazy, and yeah, from there it's just been a case of currently at the moment trying to get used to working from home, since thankfully I am able to work from home, so that's obviously taken priority over making YouTube videos. But anyway, regular uploads will resume. I have a couple of pre-recorded reviews that I just need to edit through and get uploaded. I've got an interesting Lego-related video where I show off a 20-year-old Lego model I found on eBay, which was new sealed from 20 years ago. And I did pre-record some more Simpsons hits and run gameplay since I really enjoyed running the donut mod. If you haven't seen that video, please do check it out. I absolutely love the Simpsons hit and run video game, and I know it is a very popular and very nostalgic game to a lot of people. So anyway, for those that are watching, please stay safe. There's no need to go out unless you absolutely have to, for the betterment of both yourself and those around you. And then hopefully the next time I release an update video, we will be in a much better place than we are at the moment. So by all means, please do leave a comment down below. Have you seen any of the items that I've shown in this video? What are your thoughts on them? Please do leave a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe down below for more content. Thanks for watching.